Can you imagine a world where we all go into the office only if the vibe is right, and where it's acceptable to dap up your boss, where it's totally okay to end an email with anything like slay?
Hi, welcome to the castle. We will watch something very interesting today because the video is about the Gen Z. And I think their struggles in the work market. I hope I will not rage too much. Me, even though I'm a dragon, I've been in a human workforce for around 10 years now, or over 10 years, I think. So I know how it is to work. I know how it is to work very, very low paid. And I'm very curious. And I also know how it is to work for companies and people that just do not care about you. Right? So I know everything. I experienced it 10 years. 10 years I did the thing. And let's see what Gen Z is struggling with. The video is made by our friend Ray from Ray Like Sunshine. And yeah, let's just dive in. There's our boy in the pretty suit. Ray, you don't have to dress up like that for us. That's fine.
Welcome back to the no good, very bad, terrible, horrible side of the internet.
Wait, what is that? Stonks? Stonks are not looking good, I guess. Oh well.
The other one.
Yeah, okay.
Also, don't worry. I am not wearing a full suit. Can someone tell me what's up with the Gen Z job market today?
No.
Oh, I am that someone. Okay, this is what's up with the Gen Z job market today. Gen Z cannot find jobs. The unemployment rate for Gen Z is almost twice the national average.
Young versus adult unemployment rate. Oh. So the green one is age 16 till 24, and the yellow one is 25 plus. Okay, interesting.
Everyone says that there are more jobs out there than ever. Yet everyone I know who is struggling trying to find a job right now, for the life of them can't even get a call back despite networking, cold emailing, and entering all their information onto company online portals twice. Please enter your information below. Why did you make me give you my resume in the first place? I don't know what the is happening with employers these days, but judging from both the experiences of people online and people in my own life who are struggling through it, we all seem to be sharing the same canon event of trying to jump into boiling water and then being told, oh, you actually don't have enough experience to jump into this boiling water.
Yeah.
Now, I know it may be a bit naive for a YouTube commentary creator to be talking about the job market, but I promise you,
I mean, he has an opinion, and so far his videos were very, very good. So I'm really curious about what he will say about the job market. So let's see where it goes.
I very recently had the same struggles as all of you did, and I swear I'm not out of touch yet.
Yeah.
Still got about 2 years till that happens. So I actually graduated during the pandemic, and it actually took me 6 months and over 800 job applications to get my first job out of college. And that job was essentially what amounted to data entry. At the time, I thought 800 was an absolutely insane number of applications to go through before actually finding a job. And so to hear that 800 is actually on the low end of what some people are experiencing, I'm just here to answer.
Really?
What happened to us?
3, they're expecting unreasonable salaries. Like they think that they go to school for 4 years and come out with a degree and then they automatically start making 100K.
3 out of 4 managers hate working with Gen Z, and here's why. So bad that 27% of employers have fired the employee within the first month. Article from where this comes from states that most Gen Zers lack motivation, effort, and get easily offended.
Statistics. Do you know what % of Gen Z workers claim they experience burnout at work? Not 20%, not 40%, not 80%, not 90%. 98% of you experience burnout.
Okay, so we're having trouble.
But should not there be, like, instead of blaming them? Okay, this is a wild take. Instead of, if someone says, yeah, 99% of you guys drop out of work because you get burnout here, instead of blaming the employee, maybe think what you do with them. Because I know how it is to work 10 to 12 hours a day. I work now more for all of this, right? But this is not a complaint. I love it. But I do like what I do here. I really like it. I do it with passion. And I also did my 10 to 12 hours in the office I worked for with passion. But from my community, from you guys, I get a lot of support, a lot of very positive feedback. It pushes me more. It motivates me. From my employer back then, I was just pushed out. So I hated it. I hated how I was treated, but I loved my work. It's a very complicated situation that I was. But if you're saying, yeah, we have such a high dropout rate, maybe do not blame the employees. Maybe also check what you are doing to them. Because, man, I've been through shit. And my work ethics are even like, I'm a workaholic. So I lean into the company. I'm behind the company. I do everything for the company. So, and even I thought it's unfair how I was treated. So maybe there's something that you might need to change because your work beliefs are from the medieval ages, which is, I don't know why humans are mentally stuck in the medieval ages. I just don't get it.
In the job market because employers think we're lazy, we're too entitled, and we're all depressed.
Who in this economy is not depressed?
Kind of sounds like my cat, who actually just moved in
Oh,
with me.
the cat!
Minus the depressed part. He's
What
actually
a
very kind.
cutie.
And so today I'm here to answer a bunch of questions. Questions like, are Gen Z workers actually just worse than other demographics? Or is the bias against Gen Z just an effect of the changing times and culture that we have within the workplace? Are the people criticizing Gen Z just straight up wrong? And is it weird to slot a sponsor part right as I'm about to get into the meat of the video? The answer to the last
How
one
dare
is yes.
you? How dare you, Ray?
But I have a contract. So today's video is sponsored by
Earn
Aura.
your money.
Job hunting is basically
your
putting
money.
all your personal information into 20 different websites per day. Twice. For some godforsaken reason. So considering the fact that you've probably at this point put applications into over 800 websites, would you like to know the probability of your data being leaked at some point?
Oh, that's that
It's high.
sponsor. Okay.
It's really high.
It's
In
really
fact, in
high,
2024 alone, over 1.7 billion individuals were affected by data breaches, including breaches of companies like Bank of America, National Public Data, and Ticketmaster. So if you think your data has been leaked by any of these unscrupulous job openings, Aura is here to help you recover and protect your personal information. Aura will alert you whenever it detects your information has been leaked by constantly scanning the dark web for your
It is
email,
important
social
to keep that
security
in
number,
check,
and
right?
passwords. Additionally, Aura will let you know immediately whether or not someone has accessed your bank account. So that means if you happen to have a Vibe Master extra girth 1-to-1 replica of the dragon from Shrek appear at your doorstep, Aura is there to let you know, because it definitely wasn't yours.
I did not expect that in an ad.
No, ma'am. So if you want
Ray,
to be
you
proactive
little-
in protecting your personal data
you little
online,
bugger.
use my link to try Aura yourself with the first 2 weeks
got
free.
goosebumps.
That'll be enough time for Aura to see if your data has been leaked. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring today, and let's get back to the
All right.
video.
Thank you, Ray. Earn your money, please.
Oh.
Pay your bills.
Sorry. Thought the ad was going to be a little longer. Just gotta finish this text. Okay, cool.
Beep, beep, boop.
What's up?
Just leaving in the middle of the shift without telling anyone, or just saying, well, I'm just never going to show up to work again. I don't like it. On behalf of all of your coworkers, get tell somebody. Say, hey, you know what? This isn't working out. I'm not coming back. Or give a 2 weeks notice. Something. But whatever you do, don't just not show up.
See, I can understand from an employer's point of
Yeah.
view why it could be frustrating for an employee to just not show up and quit without a notice. That being said, when you get laid off, does your work give you a 2-week notice? Do they give you any notice at all? And you know what? I think we should be treating terrible jobs like terrible first dates by enforcing boundaries, making sure they pay their fair share, and ghosting the fuck out of them.
I mean, it goes from both sides, right? So the company needs to like provide something, and then also the employee also needs to provide something in terms of like communication, showing up. If something is going on, tell the company, or if you don't like it, hey, I feel this is not working out, I would like to go. And then the communication is really important. I still do not understand why you humans as a social creature cannot properly communicate. What is wrong with you? Please get some help, all of you. Great benefits, remote work, pay. Yeah, I have a couple of friends who told me, yeah, they applied for a new job. They were really excited about it because they get this and this and this and that. And then they did not get this and this and this and that because the company was just lying to them. Why do you do that?
Look, all I'm saying is, at least when someone ghosts me after a date, they don't also take my paycheck, my health insurance, and frankly, a piece of my already dwindling sanity.
For the fourth time, the fourth Gen Z worker we have hired at my job has not shown up. Second we get them done with training, because it takes about a month or two to go and learn all the systems, the computer equipment, the machinery, everything we got at this place. When we finally get them trained up to where they can be on the schedule, they just up and never call anybody again and never show up again.
That
I
is
think
not
there's this
fair.
old Chinese proverb that translated into
I really understand the frustration. It's really not fair, right? It's really not fair.
English goes, if someone smells like dog shit, then they probably stepped in dog shit. If everyone smells like dog shit, then you should probably check your own shoe.
Yeah.
Confucius. If you have 4 Gen Z workers all suddenly up and leaving, the work conditions at your company
Might not be the best.
are probably just bad. That means the people who left.
So I see, like, I understand both. I understand why the people are leaving because it's a bad place. I also understand the frustration of the person that just lost 4 employees after training them. There is a lot of problems just in that scenario already. And there's possibilities to fix it. But fixing it, you have to, there's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort. I will not say it's not a lot of effort. It's a lot. But it's something that you need to do. I wonder if we will go to the point where Ray or any of those managers or whoever in that video, wait, I have something in my eye. Go to the point because, like, so for example, the people that are like between 40 to 60 now, they grew up in a different time. Work ethics was different and differently ingrained in their brain. Nowadays, the younger people are like, yeah, I cannot afford a house. I'm happy if I can just pay my apartment, but I don't want to be a company slave. So they want something, they want to afford something, which is understandable. Everybody wants that. The economy is very bad, but they also don't want to be a slave. That doesn't make them lazy. It makes them more cautious of what they value and how they can reach it. And if a company is just paying you trash and treating you like trash, well, I can totally understand why they just not show up and why they also just ghost them, because a lot of people have a problem with dealing with conflict with each other, which is scary. I get that. And this, if your employer, he doesn't have to pamper your ass. I will not say that. He doesn't have to pamper your ass. But if an employer is just mad at you, maybe even screams at you, because I had that. I did not. So I was there for a month. It was a floral shop, and the chef, the woman, the chef there, she was just very, very harassing. She was very loud. And after a month, I just could not work there anymore. And in this time period, after a month, you can still just quit without consequences. So I wrote my quit letter. I took the bus to get there. It took me an hour. It takes me an hour to get there by bus. I put the ladder in there. I locked the door, and I put also the key through into another ladder and put it also through the ladder box, basically, or into the ladder box, because I was so scared of that woman. I could not handle it. Now thinking about it, I'm fine, but back then, just thinking about that woman and how she treated me, I was so scared that I just started crying on the spot thinking about it. It was really, really bad. And I do understand that young people have a problem with that, and you should not be treated like this. Employers should not treat their younger generations like that. They will never be loyal to the company. They will be just scared of you and quit as fast as they can. And I do not understand why the employers do not understand it. I mean, yeah, I get it, because they were raised differently. They were like, you have to bite the bullet. You have to go through this. No, you don't. But back in the days, it was not accepted to be against it. Now, the humans are slowly like getting more cautious about everything and how they treat each other. And this is why there's a huge shift now. And companies can either shift with the new generations and have a lot of positive, a lot of loyal, hardworking employees if they treat them right, or they can just vent on TikTok. You pick your poison. I'm sorry, I was rambling a lot.
Would literally rather be unhoused than work at your company. I mean, he mentions that the work is backbreaking and that the shifts are 12 hours even on weekends.
So instead of having my normal 12-hour shift day,
my normal 12-hour shift date. It's not normal. See, that's why I said you are so stuck in medieval ages.
I'm looking at about a 16, 17-hour shift.
And it's not like it's a bad job.
It's almost as if they weren't transparent at all during the onboarding process.
Or even like in the...
Yeah, this is not what I signed up
on the
for.
website,
And I think
basically.
It just goes to show how out of touch a lot of these people can be when talking about Gen Z. It's just a complete lack of self-awareness and self-reflection, which are two major areas of improvement for our next guest, not actually a Dr. Phil.
You say right now you just won't hire Gen Z employees.
No, we don't. It's been a nightmare with 95% of the ones that we have hired.
Were you ever fired?
Yeah, I would instead of blaming a whole generation and prohibiting yourself from high quality workers, if you treat them right, you should think about what you put them into.
Fired?
Oh, yes, sir. I've been fired.
Yeah, what for?
Oh, I had not coming to work once. You know, I was in my 20s and fresh out of the military and just kind of decided to do it my own way.
So let me get this straight. You yourself, when you were younger, was literally fired for not showing up to work. And yet you were still given the same opportunities that led you to become a successful businessman. But now that you are a successful businessman, you now actively choose not to give those same opportunities to people who are literally in your position. Why is it that you're allowed to make the same mistakes that younger generations are making, but we aren't? This really seems just more like a young person problem and not a Gen Z problem. Because you for sure know that this guy's bosses were probably saying the same thing. Oh, you don't want to work a 12-hour shift? Back in my day, I didn't complain a single time where I did 14-hour shifts in the coal mines. Oh, you don't want to work in a coal mine for 14 hours? Back in my day, I didn't complain at all when I was pulling 24-hour shifts in the factory at 6.
Yeah. Just because you had to go through something, you don't have to make people go through the same shit. You have to break the cycle. It is in every life situation. If you were mistreated, if you had bad experiences, do not portray that on other people. This is not fair. Be the change that the world needs and break the cycle of stupidity, please.
This sucks ass.
Eric, you had one that showed up dressed like Harry Potter posting videos.
They were doing Harry Potter TikToks. Yep. I can't make this up. And then they told me they were working.
Okay, first of all, it's called marketing. Wouldn't expect a mudbug like you to know that. Second of all, At least he showed up to work.
Yeah.
Coming to work once.
They then, of course, have to hit the old adage of internet bad.
And you've seen it.
Personally, I think it boils down to obviously how they're raised. And right now, this generation is being raised by the internet.
They're raised by the internet? No, we're raised by you. It wasn't the internet that packed our lunches or bought us phones or enforced healthy boundaries on screen time. It was you. And considering the fact that the internet is literally 50%, we'd all be gooners by now if that was actually the case.
What do you think his go-to was?
Uh-oh.
Okay, maybe have a point. At one point, they bring in a Gen Z healthcare worker and have a 4-on-1 team deathmatch with her, which really pissed me off because this is clearly not skill-based matchmaking. It was
it's not fair.
completely unfair.
Very unfair, but nice at least to have someone. But still, not fair. 4 against 1, that's I hate those two. Like, there's also a format where one person is sitting in the middle and 20 people are around that, and they get like a specific time frame to talk with that person. But also they have to like run towards the chair. I don't know how the name is, but I think it's unfair because there are 20 people and that one person has to argue against all of them. How fair is that?
For the 4.
I'm expected to be cross-trained without any bump in pay. I'm expected to cover for people who, quite frankly, they decide when and if they want to come to work. And so, no, I'm not going to overextend myself and bend over backwards for companies who don't take all the little nuances of being an employee of theirs into consideration.
I mean, I'm a serial going above and beyond person because it's where it's got.
Business owner says many young adults have lazy work ethic. No, they just don't want to be slaves. That's okay.
Me in my life and in my career. And did I always get paid for it? No. But what I value more is my integrity as who I am as a person.
Do you know what I value? Paying my bills.
Having a house, having a roof,
minimum does not
food.
represent corporate America or corporate women, or certainly Black women in corporate America. How would you know if you've never tried to go above and beyond?
I have tried it.
And it's failed you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, corporate has failed me.
So the problem is...
I can totally feel it. That's why I'm here, because corporate failed me and I want to work for myself. And like I said, I work so much during the day, but I love it and it brings me purpose. It brings me joy, and I will keep doing. I still work corporate to pay my bills as a part-time worker, but I do my best so someday I can just do what I love and inspire people to become better, to maybe have a little mark on the world. I really want that. So I work my ass off for it. I know how to work. Those companies can't tell me that. And the younger people also know how to work. They need a little bit of guidance because they're young. That is fair. But they don't need a guidance to put them back into the slavery mode. That is not fair at all.
There's something called paying your dues.
Again, instead of making us pay our dues, how about you help me pay my bills? And I think this is a huge reason why Gen Z is so disillusioned with the current job market right now. The current old guard are still arguing for paying your due before actually getting paid. And unfortunately for us, inflation doesn't really wait for us to pay our dues.
No.
It just wants you to pay.
Yeah. That is also a thing why maybe some want like a bigger paycheck, right? Because inflation, having an apartment is so expensive, especially depending on where you live. If you live more in the countryside, you need to pay all the like the car, the gas, the bus, whatever bills it creates. So you need to have at least something to cover your bills, but companies don't see that life is so expensive nowadays. And I don't understand that. I just need to watch my cat because he's like a little cable biter sneaking around over there. But he's going to sleep now.
You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
Where's my
That's
money?
if you can actually find a job, which today feels less like hunting for a job and more like getting hunted by a job. The amount of hoops that some companies are asking their applicants to go through is asinine. Write a short poem using these words: giraffe, cacophony, and giggles. Okay.
Wait, what?
Poem using
Wait a minute.
these words: Giraffe.
Thanks for applying for a senior strategic marketing job here, yada yada. Please make sure you complete our custom application on your company website in order to be considered for the role. Please apply here, yada yada yada. Thanks, the team at yada yada. You all lost me at this. Wait, in the custom application, it said write a short poem using these words. I would like to remove myself from consideration. What? Huh? Why do you, as a senior strategist in marketing, you don't need to write a poem?
Cacophony and giggles. Okay.
What the hell?
Here you go. Giraffes are long. My giggles are too. But not for this crap. Because holy you. It's not hard to go online and find job openings that are requiring advanced degrees and pay close to minimum wage. Or have thousands of applicants just...
Yeah, so this $30 to $84 per hour on site, yada yada.
just hours after it's posted.
Over
And it makes
100
it all the more
applicants.
frustrating when you have creators like this popping up in your feed and gaslighting you into thinking that everything is fine.
People are lying to you about the job market. This is actually a great job market. There's record low unemployment. So why is everyone saying the job market's so bad? Way too many people competing for the same handful of jobs. That's part of it. And then people have really gotten lazy in the way that they're applying to these jobs.
Are you actually...
I wouldn't say that. Like from my experience when I applied for new jobs, companies just require also a very, very lot that you never needed in the job at the end.
A f***ing spatula. Let's talk about unemployment, by the way, which as of recording this video is 4.1% or 7.9% for Gen Z. I'm going to dig deep and fall back on my background of being a econ and accounting major and take a look to see if that 4.1% actually is indicative of a healthy job market. What exactly is not included in that 4.1%? If you've applied to thousands of postings and you decided to take a break from job applications, you are not in that 4.1%. If you were a six-figure engineer who is laid off and now you have to DoorDash to pay rent, you're not in that 4.1%. Not that there's anything wrong with doing DoorDash, but going from
like those numbers are being like of course the countries try to put a ribbon on it. Let's just call it like that. Countries, to make them stand out like a really nice place, just put a ribbon on it, so that the unemployment rate is very, very low. But in Germany, for example, you have something that is called the Maßnahme, where you go and you get like a training how to write applications, and then sometimes you just sit there. I've been there. I also heard a bunch of things, so you're just basically killing time. But because you are in this thing in the system, you are not you are not counted as unemployed in the statistics. So like for example, Germany wants a lot of people, if they're unemployed, they want you to go to those Maßnahme projects. So you are not a number in the statistics, and the statistics looks way better, even though you're still unemployed.
engineer to DoorDash is probably not indicative of a healthy job market. And if you work in a job that pays so little that you have to decide between utilities and food, you are not in that 4.1%. So yes, technically, the unemployment rate is 4.1%. But as we can all see, that is definitely not a good measure of economic prosperity. The actual percentage of people who are either working jobs that pay under $25,000 per year or are unemployed is actually closer to 24%. I thought this whole entire time We were just numbers.
One
to them.
third.
It turns out we're
1/4.
not even that. And this isn't even touching the insane attitude that a lot of managers today have about work culture. I found this one LinkedIn post talking about a company power hour. This morning we launched the Just Eat Power Hour. Our colleagues told us while in lockdown, they were on back-to-back calls and found it difficult to take a break away from their screen. That's not how we roll. So we introduced Power Hour. Oh, nice. So we get an extra hour on top of our lunch break to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Right? Is this in addition to the lunch break? This is an hour to be away from the screen. You can be writing your to-do list, having lunch, going for a walk, exercising.
So it's
you choose.
your break.
This is literally a rebranded lunch break. You know what?
Yeah.
No. Actually, this is great. I have been inspired. I will now allow my researcher to use the toilet rather than the company provided bucket I'd leave in their cubicle. When you are 22 and in your new job, throw yourself to work. Eat well. Stay fit. But put in 18 hours a day for at least 4 to 5 years. That early, worship the work. The flex you build in the first 5 years of your career carries you for the rest of it. Oh.
well,
Nice. At least you have your work to flex, because you certainly wouldn't be flexing anything else. Working 18 hours a day and staying fit.
how even? And staying fit and eating well, having a hobby which is very healthy for you mentally, and having people around you that you interact with, like having some social outgoings and stuff. How are you supposed to do that? When do you want to sleep? And have a healthy sleep schedule, right? How?
Fit and healthy are mutually exclusive things. And I think I can actually speak on this from experience. When I was doing a summer internship at an accounting firm, I was roommates with someone who was also entering that summer, except he was doing it at an investment bank. If you don't know what investment bank work culture is like, this man was an intern working 16 hours a day.
Oh my lord,
up to
that
6
poor
days
guy.
a week. On move-in day, he had a 6-pack. In 10 weeks by move out, he had gained 20 pounds just from the stress and inability to eat healthily. But
No.
I don't know. He was only working 16 hours a day. Maybe if he followed this guy's instructions and worked 2 more every day, he'd probably still have a
Wait,
6
who's that guy? Let me.
day. Maybe if he
Founder CEO at Bombay Shaving Company, ambassador at Olymp something. And keeping that up for 4 to 5 years, you do know, Mr. Founder CEO at Bombay Shaving Company, you do know that if you keep that up, you are burned out after half a year. You are very unhealthy. You are anxious. You have a lot of trauma from those 6 months working at this type of thing. I do not think that you did that. I'm so sorry. Please show me that you did this. Please prove that to me. Because I don't think that. This is slavery. Okay?
followed this guy's instructions and worked 2 more every day, he'd probably still have a 6-pack. You guys are spending your Sunday nights watching grown men fight over a ball. I'm making cold calls and catching up on emails.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, good for you, but don't blame people that enjoy watching a sport. I think this is a sport. Men fight over a ball. I think this is meant like a ball sport. Like, just let them enjoy a hobby. Relax.
How to win. Zig when everyone else zags. If I'm trying to enjoy my Sunday
Good for you.
and I get a single mother cold call,
You know, we have some great deals on
trace the call,
masses
Siri.
today, if you know what I'm talking about, you know, and you seem like, you know, someone who knows about in their ass. So, you know, I thought at a 10 p.m. on a Sunday. So, but oh, hold on, someone's at my door. Hey, wait, no.
There he goes. Good job, Ray. Good job. I'm proud of you. Good sketch.
Guess you should have zagged.
Hey, yo, Gen Z, quick question. Are y'all having sex?
Huh?
Because it doesn't really seem like y'all are having sex.
What?
Or doing anything fun.
What is that question?
For that matter. I don't have a ton of anecdotal data about this, but the data that I do have suggests that y'all don't like to go out, don't drink, don't do drugs, and don't really have sex. You can be an overthinking, anxious adult the rest of your life. Your 20s are for fucking up.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things to take care of. What is with her?
So we can't find jobs, and even when we do, we're overworked and underpaid. So tell me,
Of course you're anxious.
with what money are we going to buy drugs with? Maybe if 70% of my pay didn't go to rent and the other 30% went to groceries that I need to live, I can buy some nose beers, Lauren. Anyways.
Also, it's really good that you don't do drugs and alcohol. So keep that up, but also keep up with having a hobby that fulfills you. That if you need a blanket time just watching Netflix, that you do that. Make sure to take care of yourself. This is not normal. These work ethics are not normal.
That's the only reason I don't have kids. That's the reason. But that's not to say Gen Z doesn't have any issues when they do make it into the workforce. For example, like that one girl that got fired because she went into the office on her first day in an office siren uniform.
Oh, yeah. I have a video about this. We will watch a video about the office siren trend because I really need to know what this is about. I heard it's just like outfit kind of things. And yes, technically you should be able to wear what you want, but maybe just put on some like appropriate clothing. Put on some appropriate clothing. I understand why people do not like it because, yeah. This is a new video, another video that we will watch. It is a very hot topic right now.
I was trying to find the original video by searching office siren in TikTok. And unsurprisingly, all I got was porn.
Yeah, well.
So, in fact, upon further review, there actually isn't an original video. The whole drama stemmed from a single comment on a single random video. So much like all the other complaints with Gen Z in the workforce, this one is probably fake and made up. That being said, let's try to not normalize this. Let's just dress normally. You can wear this whenever you want, but please just not at work. I think it is okay to have some boundaries at work in terms of clothing. Business casual and not let's get down to business, because it's just making everybody think that this is what we all dress like in the office, and we're already having a tough time as it is. And to add to our misery, a while back there was also this trend of tech influencers showing off a day of their work.
That day in my life working in tech. I started my morning with a hot yoga class, although of course on my way out the door, somehow the handle to my closet broke, so I couldn't even get my yoga mat. I then made the mistake of scootering into work because I didn't want to walk in the rain, but honestly I think walking would have been less painful because with the wind chill, my hands were literally frozen. I was actually so cold that I made Blake warm my hands up for like 10 minutes because I couldn't feel my fingers. But there was a really cute dog in the office today, so that helped make things better.
This is actually one of the more tame ones I've seen, but it still made me go, maybe you shouldn't have posted this. Maybe that wasn't a good idea.
I then had another team meeting to talk about our sales strategy for the year, including quotas and
Yeah, the problem is if your boss sees that.
Comp, always fun stuff. And then I had some time to actually get work done, which is very unusual because I'm usually in meetings all day.
Oh, it's unusual for you to actually be able to get your work done? Okay, cool. Shut the fuck up. This is not me being angry. This is legitimate legal advice.
Hey guys, welcome to a day in the life of a Googler in New York City. Before I head up for breakfast, I get out Milo's office bed and his office toy. First, I need a coffee. The free coffee is seriously one of my favorite perks at Google, and I take
Something like this has to be approved by the company that you work in. Otherwise, they will just look at it and be like, girl, what are you doing? For what are we paying you? Right?
a minute to appreciate our beautiful office views. After that meeting ends, I have a coffee chat, so I
It's
head
a
up to the
beautiful
rooftop
place,
because the weather was nice. A little OOTD. Then I had more back-to-backs until around 5 p.m. that day.
If
Social
you had
media
a
is a
job
curse
that
in
paid
that.
you 6 figures and all you did was play with dogs, grab snacks, and be in quote-unquote meetings all day, why would you tell people about it? That's a dick move. This is like if you were robbing a bank and getting away with it, and then you decide to go and tell everyone how cool it is to rob a bank. Like, replace the word a bank with Google, and that is literally what is happening.
I had another meeting after this one, so I head back down to the MK, grab a LaCroix and an espresso, and also do a little snack tour to see what we had today.
Look, I don't think there is anything inherently wrong with benefiting at the expense of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. But posting these for everyone to see not only doesn't do anything for the rest of Gen Z, but this exercise of trying to seek external validation for your cushy-ass job is actively harming the rest of your generation. If the perception of Gen Z is that we are lazy and overpaid, videos like this...
True, it does not help. Now I see it. I'm sorry, I took a moment to realize what is going on.
kind of prove their point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this video is way longer than what I'm used to. Look, I know that a lot of what I've said today comes off as doomer and extremely negative. And going into this, that is really not the attitude that I wanted to carry this with. And while I am joking for a lot of this video, there are serious structural issues with the job market right now. It may not be the reality for all of Gen Z or even most of Gen Z, but there are people legitimately struggling out there. So I want to offer you a different perspective, a vision for a future, nay, a glimpse into the inevitable epoch of when Gen Z finally take over the economic reins. Can you imagine a world where we all go into the office only if the vibe is right, and where it's acceptable to dap up your boss, where it's totally okay to end an email with anything like slay or period or I want to kill my... Like, what if we did have a world where everyone understood the struggle of rising prices and compensated people fairly? What if we didn't have to pay our dues, but we were entrusted as...
Instead of like threatening them with, yeah, I will fire you, more like, hey, what happened? What happened? What can we work this out together, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but
capable and adaptable employees who could be counted on to finish your work on time no matter where we were. That is our future. That is our inevitability. And that is what we have to look forward to. And for those of you who are still on the job hunt, you've probably heard this a million times by now, but try not to be discouraged. Yes, things seem bleak right now, and it seems like no matter how much effort, blood, sweat, and tears you put into it, you just seem to be getting nowhere. But you're not getting nowhere. You're still learning with every single application, with every single interview. You are still learning every time. It's just a tough time right now. But if you keep putting in that effort, great things are going to happen. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get this tie off me now.
Like, put yourself out there, do something, apply to the things. Also be mindful how you present yourself on social media, because I'm very sure bosses check that out. I'm very sure bosses check that out, even have like a very, very funny name that cannot be linked back to you, or just be mindful how you present yourself. And then maybe also, like, if it doesn't work out, work on some projects, do what you like, what is like job related, put that on social media or anywhere else. Like, present yourself as like a valuable employee who deserves being treated properly, kinda. I'm not saying you have to work 20 hours a day, but instead of just like complaining, yeah, nobody is taking me in, I'm depressed, I don't want to do this anymore. Shift your thinking into, okay, what can I do to show, what can I do to learn something new, but also to show, hey, I'm capable of this. And shift the depresso into something positive that you can grow onto, which is, I think, overall a better way to go through life. I know life is hard, but we need to go somewhere. We can't just be in a rut. We can't just be in a trash bag. This is not going anywhere. So try to walk little steps, and don't give up. Don't get discouraged. It is hard. We all know, but there will be a change over time, and it's up to a lot of people to make this change happen. So not only the employee side, also the employer side. And I can't wait to see where you humans are going to. And I hope for the better. I hope you're all going for the better. But yeah, thank you, Ray, for making the video. It was very, very interesting. What did you learn from it? Maybe if you can, maybe you can also share a situation where related to it. Like for me, for example, with the flower shop lady. But you don't have to. Please be careful. Like I said, be careful how you present yourself on social media, but you have a place to open up as long as we are polite to each other and try to understand each other. And so I will shut up. I wish you a lovely day. Make yourself comfortable. Be hydrated. Eat well. I see you on stream maybe or tomorrow. Bye-bye.